Well, now, I don't want to sound too patriotic right off the bat, but I happen to like the sight of grass and trees. Honestly, few things give me more pleasure than a tree grown to its full natural height. Acres and mountains full of untouched forests, and miles of pure beach and sand dunes and oceans blue with whitecaps, and a long, uninterrupted horizon, like they have in New England a lot. And I really and truly enjoy visiting there and taking in all that scenery, especially in the fall when the foliage turns all kinds of colors. Beautiful. Oklahoma, you know, is different. Rainwater isn't so plentiful, and there are some pretty harsh areas on which to eke out a living in Oklahoma and Texas. We don't get many tourists from New England. What we have is a lot of oil and gas. And what we do is get it out of the ground and export it to New England and other states. Tell you why. You see, come September, October, an interesting phenomenon takes place. It happens every year. When the leaves are turning all those heartwarming colors, the thermostats in the houses go up. And on hot summer days, the air conditioners turn softly, so it will be nice and comfortable when the folks return from a dip in that crystal clear ocean. Now, I have confessions to make. I've always resented it that New England didn't export some of their picturesque foliage and shoreline to the barren areas of Oklahoma and Texas and New Mexico. Oh, sure, we've got some shoreline in our part of the country, but it is all cluttered up with those offshore oil rigs, you know. Somehow those New England folks don't seem to like oil rigs, but they don't raise any fuss about us having them. Then again, like I said, they don't visit with us too much. Here's a secret. In Oklahoma, we've thought of seceding and joining OPEC, and then buying up the whole Atlantic coast from Bangor, Maine to Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. What I'm getting at is, in how many environmentalist offices have they turned in their electric typewriters and gone back to manuals? Now, suppose I were to ask that question seriously. A very likely response is that it wouldn't make all of that difference. To which one could reply, well, doesn't every kilowatt count, like every vote counts, and ultimately like every life counts? Aren't we always exercising selectivity in our decisions and valuations? A selectivity, moreover, which is based largely on convenience. For example, New Englanders scream bloody murder at the thought of offshore drilling near their beaches, but don't they tacitly condone offshore drilling every time they turn up their thermostats? I have yet to hear of a house owner or motorist who, number one, inquired if the oil or gasoline he was about to purchase originated offshore or inland, and number two, refused to purchase any offshore oil or gasoline, assuming he was persistent enough to determine its source. If there is any doubt that we are an intensely convenience-oriented society, the following statistics should dispel that. From 1963 to 1971, food consumption in the United States by weight on a per capita basis rose 2%, while the weight of packaging for that food increased by 33%. Now, this has a direct bearing on kilowatts and pollution. Everyone knows that to produce, transport, and discard such weight consumes energy. The Environmental Protection Agency has deplored this waste, yet convenience packaging continues to thrive because we are a convenience-oriented society. Alongside convenience packaging has come convenience politics, especially on the national level. It is convenient and safe. For example, for an elected representative to respond to the demands of his constituency, demands which 9 times out of 10 are convenience-oriented, by catering to those demands rather than opposing them in favor of some larger national interest. What are some of these demands? Demand number one is an adequate supply of energy regardless of any shortage or threatened embargo at low prices. Adequate in this sense really means limitless. because no one wants rationing, right? And low prices mean lower prices because no one wants additional taxes or a share of the burden of higher production costs. Demand number 2 is clean air, pure oceans, restricted mining alongside of full industrial production, as if limited or limitless fuel supplies could be had somehow by magical, traceless osmosis, and an active industrial economy could proceed without some atmospheric residue and terrestrial change. How's that? It's timed at 140, but I gave it at 130.
Still pretty tough.